You may recall that about 3 years ago, I did a series of stories about the Mars rover Perseverance that launched on July 30th, 2020. I even did what you could call a remote live shot from the surface of Mars documenting its arrival. Inside Perseverance was a little helicopter known as Ingenuity. She was eventually deployed and made history on April 19th, 2021.
First flight of a powered aircraft to another planet.
Its initial goal was as a tech demonstration for future missions, with the goal of accomplishing 5 flights. But sadly, on January 18th of this year, Ingenuity became permanently grounded, so I've returned to the Red Planet to pay my respects. Joining me now, Ingenuity team lead Joshua Anderson, who's here to tell us more about the little helicopter that could.
You know, our big goal, we were always pushing for that first flight, and we had no idea what Ingenuity was really capable of. You know, we got 1 flight and then 2 flights. We're like, wow, let's see what we can do. We got 3 or 4 flights. We're like, maybe we'll get to 10.
After the first goal of 5 flights was achieved, the decision was made to continue pushing its limits, which almost got pushed too far immediately with flight number 6.
Midway through the flight, we had a timing issue where the images that we were taking weren't agreeing with the timestamps. That confusion led to Ingenuity thinking it was in a different spot than it was. And so it was really struggling to control itself and make it to the end of the flight. Fortunately, we were able to get the data we needed to understand the issue and quickly patch it going forward. So fortunately, that didn't reoccur.
So the flights continued, but this time with a little more sense of urgency because the Martian winter was approaching, and Martian winters are a bit more frigid than those on Earth.
Even our chief engineer, Bob, who is one of the biggest believers in Ingenuity you will ever meet, said, well, winter's probably going to be the end. Sure enough, not far into our first winter, Ingenuity one day didn't check in with us. That was probably one of my scariest moments on the team, is seeing that, lack of signal from Ingenuity, and we got really worried. We thought, well, we had a great run, probably the end of the mission. And we worked with the Perseverance team, who did an awesome job helping us turn on our radio and search for Ingenuity throughout the day. And the next day, Ingenuity talked to us. She was still healthy, just a little bit confused.
The world was stunned to see that Ingenuity survived the Martian winter, especially because there were many in the know who wondered if flying on the Mars was even possible at all.
Up until Ingenuity flew the first time, there were a lot of experienced scientists and engineers who thought our team was kind of crazy. We're like, yeah, sure, on paper you can fly on Mars, but practically speaking, can you actually do anything with that?
Ingenuity continued to fly, past Flight 47, past Flight 54. It was when the flight numbers hit the 70s that Ingenuity spread her wings for the final time. There's no GPS on Mars, and so Ingenuity relied on its cameras to get its bearings. The sandy dunes and barren ground confused it. She lost track of where she was and attempted an emergency landing that almost went according to plan. Almost.
Helicopters really depend on well-balanced blades. And Ingenuity, in particular, spins really fast. Our blades spin at almost the speed of sound on Mars. And so if the blades aren't perfectly balanced, and we spent tons of time when we were designing those blades to balance them, when you try and spin up, we're just not stable.
So today, we pour one out for our homie Ingenuity, the little helicopter that could. And in fact, it's still the little helicopter that can.
Ingenuity is still remarkably healthy. She's still upright, she's still talking to us. And so we're able to use this opportunity to get the last little bit of data we had on board Ingenuity off. We're going to be doing some diagnosing of everything we can learn about what happened in this emergency landing in Flight 71 and 72. And hopefully even talking to Perseverance and continuing to collect science for a little while as Perseverance explores this corner of Jezero Delta and starts climbing up the Greater Rim.
So here's to you, Ingenuity, and here's to the ingenuity of the people at NASA and JPL. I believe it was Edgar Allan Poe that said it best. The boundaries of life and death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say when one ends and where the other begins?
She's gone so far above and beyond what we could have ever imagined. 72 flights and 17 kilometers is just incredible. And even in the end, she continues to surprise us, going out her own way, landing upright, continuing to talk with us, and telling us it's time for a rest.
For Central Oregon Daily News, I'm Space Geek Scott Elness.